Ladies and gentlemen, I feel extremely privileged to welcome our chief guest, His Excellency, Honorable Vice President of India. We rarely get this kind of an opportunity to listen to the words of such a great leader. Sir, you hardly need any introduction. You have made all of us proud of your distinguished work in numerous capacity. We are overwhelmed at how fortunate we are to have you here at our National E-Convention. So let us have the privilege of listening to the convocation address of Honorable Vice President of India. We welcome you, sir. I request you all to give standing ovation and a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
आदरणीय श्री महमूद आली जी, गृह मंत्री तेलंगाना प्रदेश, श्री आशीष गर्ग, अध्यक्ष ICSI, श्री आशीष मोहन, सेक्रेटरी ICSI, श्री अंकुर यादव, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी ICSI, the present office bearers and the outgoing office bearers and the budding company secretaries who are all going to be given that honor today, and my dear young friends, it really gives me immense pleasure to be amongst the members of one of the most prestigious professional bodies of the country, the Institute of Company Secretaries, at this first ever National E-Convocation ceremony for awarding certificates to its associates and fellow members. The journey from being a student to becoming a full-fledged professional company secretary must have been most challenging, but also quite satisfying. Convocation ceremonies like these are befitting to mark the beginning of a new and a novel phase of your life. My best wishes to each one of you. God bless you all. I must convey my appreciation to the Institute of Company Secretaries of India for its commitment towards ensuring good governance across the Indian corporate sector and for the nation's growth, development and self-reliance. Underline self-reliance. We're a great country. We're a great civilization. Once upon a time, we were known as Visva Guru. Students from across the globe, they used to come and study in our institute, Takshashila, the Nalanda, Vikramshila, many more. Yuan Song, Pahian, the Chinese historians, they came and wrote about our institutions also. And we have a very prestigious, glorious past. And now, as the world is moving, the technology is fast moving. New innovations are coming. We as a nation, India, the largest parliamentary democracy in the world, with the 130 crore population, we need to work towards becoming a self-reliant India. The Prime Minister has given a call for Atma Nirbhara Bharat. And we have that capacity. We have that potentiality. What is required is we must spot the talent among our youngsters and encourage them. That is the need of the hour. See the talent of India everywhere in multinational companies. Many heads are Indians. Whether it is IT companies or other institutions, I need not dwell on that. It is Indians who are in the forefront. Even the medical profession. Some of the top doctors in the United States, in other countries, they are all Indians. The reason being, there is something special in this land, the soil, in this air, in this water, and in this environment. There is something special. So you have inherent knowledge. We need to identify it, and we need to encourage and promote it. Then you will be easily able to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. Completing 52 years of your journey as a pioneering institute is really a notable achievement. We are all aware company secretaries hold a distinguished place in India's economic scenario. They play a major role in ensuring India's compliance with the rules and regulations. I am happy to note that ICSI's focus is expanding from corporate governance to national governance. The fact that your model code of governance of Gram Panchayat and charity governance have been translated into 12 regional languages is a testament to the Institute's commitment towards strengthening governance frameworks at the village or gram level. We have 60% or more rural population. We need to take the governance up to the lowest level. The Gram Panchayat, the block, the Jilla Parishad, the municipality, the corporation, all these bodies, they must have good governance models. They must have proper training so that all can work together. India is a federal structure as per our constitution. Central government, state government, district level, local level, all these administrations are very important. If they all work as Team India with the same spirit, then the growth will be faster. At the end of the day, we are all aware the delivery lies with the lower unit of governance. Whatever laws we may make in Parliament, whatever noble intentions the Government of India may have, and the legislations or the initiatives that are passed, but they have to come to the state, and then it has to go up to the lower level. So the lower level governance is very much important. For that the framework, governance framework is very important. I am happy you are focusing on that. For a nation that has always been agrarian with major chunk of the population residing in the rural areas, it is indeed an indisputable fact that the roots of good governance must begin from the smallest ranks of governing bodies. I have the fortune of being a rural development minister, then also urban development minister, and then being from the rural background, I know the problems of the rural people and agriculturists. Agriculture is our basic culture. We must try to promote and protect and come to the aid of the farming community. You might have seen in this crisis, in this pandemic, that one sector which has performed exceedingly well in spite of all the difficulties is the farm sector. Our farmers, they have increased the production, they have increased the sowing area. Every other sector, there is some setback because of the pandemic. Agriculture sector, not that there are no problems, there are problems. There will be problems because it's a vagaries of monsoon and also lack of proper infrastructure and also lack of adequate storage systems, marketing facilities. All these things are a big challenge to the agriculture sector. But the government of India and state governments, they are focusing more and more on agriculture, rural development, because the development has to be even. You have to take both the rural and urban people together. Otherwise, there will be rural India and urban India, which has been. So we have to aim at the governance level, governance model at the local level and focus on agriculture. My dear youngsters, our ancient scriptures have always served as a guiding light for our actions. I am glad to know that a publication on ancient scriptures have also been released by the Institute because of the advent of the foreign invasion. We somehow lost our conscience. We have been misled. And we started thinking as if they are great, their civilization is great, and we are down below. That's not the case. We have such a great civilization. And also a surviving, thriving, moving forward civilization. There are world civilizations: Greek, Athens, Egypt, Roman, and see those civilizations now and see the Indian civilization. Ours is a time-tested because of our forefathers who lived for thousands of years. They have set some models. They have given us certain guiding principles. Our scriptures, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the other books, they are treasure of knowledge. They are treasure of knowledge. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, all these things, if you read them, if you understand them, there is so much for us to pass on to the younger generation. They need to be told about our great civilizational values. I'm happy you have brought out an ancient publication. And also we must also know the history, past history of this nation. No nation can move forward by forgetting its past. We Indians, we need to study our history, our ancient glory, our civilizational values, and follow the same. That's why I always say that our history, whatever distortion that has been reported, because those people, the history says Robert Clive the Great, the man who came, ruled us, ruined us, and the people who came, looted us, cheated us, and we admire them. And whereas we don't give enough importance to the great people, great freedom fighters. So I started writing recently Facebook blogs about the forgotten heroes and heroines. Not the cinema, but the real life. The people who are sentenced to life and then served jail term, cruel jail term in Andaman. I am presently writing that series. And the women, freedom fighters and social workers who are in the forefront of the movement, those days, who have not been given enough importance in the history. Now efforts are on to give importance to all leaders, to bring out the life of Subhash Chandra Bose, the life of the Iron Man of India. Now you have seen the other day, the government has taken initiative to connect Kevadia in Gujarat from 8 centers across the country so that people can reach and see the Statue of Unity. The Statue of Unity is larger, taller than Statue of Liberty. And Sardar Patel's life is an inspiration for the people to have discipline, to have hard work, to have dedication, to have devotion. And the people must develop such character, caliber, capacity, and conduct themselves so that they become ideal citizens. Much has to be written and told to the younger generation about Bhagat Singh, about Rajguru, about Subhash Chandra Bose, about Madan Mohan Malaviya, about Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, to many scientists, all great people, even Arya Bhatta, Bhaskaracharya, Susruta, Charaka. We should know what all the achievements they have made, and also know the modern history, where leaders across the country in different regions, we call them as local leaders. No, Veera Pandya Kattabomman, Allur Sitaramaraju. There are many stalwarts in each region of the country. They should be focused and highlighted. And the younger generation should know about this, about all these great personalities. The modern day company secretary is a true guide of the corporates, hand-holding the board, protecting the interest of all stakeholders, and more importantly, ensuring adherence to the laws of the land in letter and spirit. I was so much inspired by your motto, but you must live up to the motto. And this profession should be taken as a mission, simply not commission. We should not give any remission to our duty or do any omission. It is possible only if we have the passion towards the mission. And then guiding the board or the management, protecting the interest of all stakeholders, not the chairman or managing director or directors, protecting the interest of all stakeholders, and more importantly, ensuring adherence to the laws of the land in letter and spirit. Indian business, though had a small setback, it is thriving. And we have opened up. Now foreign investment is coming. We have moved towards public-private partnership. We must really ensuring to see that the interest of all stakeholders are protected. The values, the ethics are maintained. Public money, the money you take from, the company takes from bank, the money they take from the shareholders, or even the partners, it should be protected. And their interests need to be served. And also the business ethics and models should be such that we follow the rules in letter and spirit. Because of the actions of few black sheep, the business got bad name. Some people try to cheat the banks, cheat the system, and then they run away from the country. Why such situations come? Why it was allowed to come to such a stage? This is a question to be posed to everyone concerned. I'm not talking politics, this government or that government. No, system was there now. So we must have foolproof system. We must have accountability. And we must have responsibility and accountability. They must go together. If you ensure it by your guidance, by your hand-holding, by adherence to the rules of the land, you will be able to have a fair, good name and also can do good business. This should be the motto. Each one of you youngsters, beginning your new journey as a company secretary and governance professional, do bear in mind that your main responsibility will be to ensure good corporate governance by adopting the best professional practices. As India moves ahead in its journey of becoming Atmanirbhar in various sectors, it is professionals like you who will be playing a key role in reviving the economy and strengthening the foundations of the corporate governance. You are an important link between the board and the rest of the stakeholders. You must always remain committed to upholding high moral values and ethics. You should never swerve from the path of virtuousness. This is very important. Please keep this in mind. Every day, what you do, what you write, what you report, what you record, you have to see that you are upholding high moral values and ethics, and you should also move on the path of virtuousness. Company secretaries are the conscious keepers of the corporates. It is imperative that they should be upright and must not succumb to any pressure. Please remember that a company is not only about profits and turnovers. Its image is equally important. Strong principles of corporate governance must be driving force of any company. The principles of transparency, integrity and honesty must be upheld at all times and must be reflected in every business activity. Professional bodies like yours must ensure that corporate entities are not only professionally competent but law-abiding too. How to comply with the rules, with the proposals of the government, how to abide by law, how to avoid law, that should not be. How to see that they pay taxes, not how to avoid paying taxes and giving ideas. Somebody might have given beautiful ideas to these fellows now who ran away. So these things should be remembered because of few people, their action. The entire system got affected. The business community got a bad name. This has to be remembered. Why I am stressing this again and again is you are budding professionals. You are going to be the future of the business and industry. My dear sisters and brothers who are all participating in this program, virtual, in various parts of the country and watching this program, we are all still grappling with the ongoing COVID pandemic and its impact on economy and livelihoods. It had impact. Though timely action, guidance from time to time by the government, by the national leadership, by the regional leadership, helped us to salvage the situation. India has fared reasonably better than many other nations, including the developed ones, in the fight against the novel coronavirus and in taking steps to revive its economy. The life and livelihood must go on. Nah? You must save the life, at the same time you must have the livelihood. Simply saving the life and locking yourself inside for a longer period is not the solution. That's why the lockdown was imposed and it was necessary to contain the virus from spreading. And then gradually, in a phased manner, it has been relaxed. We have to now focus on reviving the livelihoods of the people. The other day, International Monetary Fund has appreciated India's efforts. The IMF chief, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva, has said that India took every decisive step to deal with the pandemic and its economic consequences. This is from International Monetary Fund. While the economy is expected to rebound in the coming months, I am sure the economy will bounce back. We have the capacity. But it's also equally important to sustain the momentum. Hence, there has to be a concerted effort by all the stakeholders in making the economy robust again. And I urge upon the Indian Inc. to take the lead in this regard. Institutions like yours will be playing a key role in putting the economy back on the rails with a focus on good corporate governance. Good corporate governance. I'm happy to note that your organization vision is to become a global leader in promoting good corporate governance. Undoubtedly, it's a wonderful objective that every effort must be made by professionals like the company secretaries to make India a role model for other countries in good corporate governance. I'm happy to note that the Institute has expanded its footprints in other countries, through its overseas centers at Dubai, USA, UK, and most recently Singapore. I would also like to congratulate the President, past President, present President, past Presidents of the ICSI for having gained significant appointments in the Corporate Secretariat International Association, Corporate Secretaries International Association, which is known to be the global voice of the corporate secretaries and governance professionals. I would like to compliment all of them. I must also commend the Institute for the initiatives taken on the academic front by signing MOUs with IIMs and universities across India. It is also very important we must all work together, including Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. And the Northeast, beautiful, the Northeast, Purvottar. This is a fine example of how institutions should pursue an all-inclusive approach towards the development of the youth of the country. I am also pleased to know that the Institute has put technology to maximum use in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic and continued with online teaching by displaying unwavering commitment and true professionalism. Before concluding, let me once again underscore the importance of the role of the company secretaries will have to play in ensuring a good corporate governance, with the Government of India focused on promoting ease of doing business. Earlier people say there used to be red tape, now it's red carpet. Because some people sometimes they say they feel shy to talk about business and industry, particularly some sections of the politicians. They feel shy in the day, but do business in the evening. How can you avoid business? Business is a tool for economic growth. Industry is a tool for economic growth. They are part of our society. We must see to it that they are run in proper terms. And they add to the nation's wealth, not only their wealth, but also the nation's wealth. Because at the end of the day, as said Prime Minister said the other day, nation means people, not only the land or the water or the other things. Nation means people. And we should see to it that the people are ultimately, any system, any governance must be aimed to help people and also make them happy. Comfort, make them comfort, make them also economically sound, but also make them happy. Happiness. For happiness, you need other things also. You need peace. Because peace is the prerequisite for progress. If you have tension, you cannot pay attention. Simple. Peace brings prosperity. We must aim in bringing peace in every walk of life. And that is possible if everybody adheres to the rule of the law. Well, governments are expected to perform their responsibility. But every segment should also comply with the rules and regulations, rules of the game. Then, if you do that way, promoting ease of doing business and making India a self-reliant and Atmanirbhar Bharat will become a reality soon. It is time for India Inc. to shoulder greater responsibility in ensuring complete transparency and adheres to the laws of the land. Everything should be transparent. Why should there be any secrecy? You will be the friend, philosopher, and guide in steering the corporate entities on the virtuous path. My dear youngsters, climate change has emerged as a major concern that needs to be addressed by all of us. We cannot afford to ignore it any longer. Every corporate entity must accord highest priority to environmental protection while making investment decisions. My favorite word is you have to protect the nature. So nature will protect you. Nature, culture, together for better future. We should all keep that in mind. It has become a climate change is real. It has become a major concern and needs to be addressed by all of us. It is not left to the government alone. Each one of us should contribute to take care of the climate change, environment. Every corporate entity must accord highest priority to environmental protection while making an investment decision. And we must also think about having more and more open spaces and also the architecture plans for the future. Air circulation must be there in every room. We are now slowly used to closed room and means closed mind. Air circulation is very important. You might have realized it, the lesson of COVID. Why the rural people are not that much affected? They live in an open environment. They take the help of sun, the moon, and also the air, Vayudeva, Varunadeva, all. But some of us are not that much privileged to see the sun. You may see your sun, but not the real sun. Because you get in, car is closed, office rooms are closed, bedrooms are closed, everything is air conditioned, and mind also become conditioned. So we must see to it that in future we must have to the extent possible air circulation and also friendly nature which will make you fit. Do some physical activity. Everyone, this is another lesson, everyone must do some physical activity. It is yoga, walking, whatever your choice, some physical fitness. If you are physically fit, then you will be mentally alert. There is a connection. Yoga brings unity of mind and body. Secondly, we must also focus on eating proper food. You may be surprised, the Vice President of India is telling us about our food. Food has to be good. Otherwise, you will not be good. If you are healthy, then you can become wealthy and you can make the nation wealthy. But there is no guarantee if you are wealthy or your company is healthy, it will be healthy. There is no such guarantee. So focus on healthy. We must eat properly cooked food, not eat the junk food. The modern day, the youngsters, because of cinema, TV, other attractions and brand promotion by big icons and heroes, they are moving towards pizza, burger. I am not criticizing pizza, burger. They may be suitable for those countries. For us, pizza, burger do not suit. One boy told me, sir, nowadays it is instant food. I told him, instant food means constant disease. You have to understand. Our food in India is designed out of thousands of years of experience. And you have thousands of varieties. Now, why do you worry? Going for the other things. And any variety, north, south, east, west. Our food is prepared according to season and reason. Rutu, Kala Chakra, depending on that. What to eat in winter, what to eat in summer. It's all prescribed by our elders. Time tested. Take advantage of technology, science, and try to improve upon that. There is no problem. But focus on eating nutritious food, not the junk food. This is my advice to the youngsters, because if you are all really healthy, you can make your company also healthy and wealthy. And also, as I told you, please remember transparency and accountability. That's very important. Now, I would like to suggest all corporates to consciously encourage whistleblowing mechanism and provide adequate safeguards for the protection of the whistleblowers. This is also equally important. It should be noted that insolvency and bankruptcy code have opened up a new era in economic reforms, because sometimes we see the owner is solvent, the company has become insolvent. How could it happen? We must find a solution to this for the solvency problem. And this insolvency bankruptcy code has opened up a new era in economic reforms. It has also provided an opportunity to company secretaries to act as insolvency professionals, this new avenue. It is heartening to note that the company secretaries are playing a pivotal role in corporate insolvency resolution process. With these words, I once again congratulate all the members of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and convey my best wishes to each one of you, and particularly the budding company secretaries who are entering this profession. I hope all of you will uphold the legacy of the Institute and take the profession to greater heights. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Sir, for your motivational address. That was indeed motivational.